Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the discussion on Certificate 7, our follow-up certificate on the previous exercise dealing with the certificate number 6. So we're still on the interim certificate stage. All our details are the same as before. Our valuation date in this case, being on site on the 20th, and we issued the certificate 7 on the 22nd of May. And then the contractor must be paid within 14 days, and that gives me then a due date of the 5th of June. All right, no changes to the contract sum. As I said previously, that remains the same. The values remains the same throughout the contract. However, contract column B, the contract value, there might be some changes. In this case, I've kept both the contract instructions the same, as well as the escalation, the estimated value for escalation the same. So for certificate 7, there was no change to that. Obviously, if there was an extra added on as to the previous totals, we would have adjusted these totals. So let's keep it the same as before. So let's go right into the certificate 7 discussion. Obviously, the rough work, you can refer back to the rough work and highlight that subtotal. So as I said before, that's your first amount that you're going to plug in is your subtotal. So this figure 1.996 come from your rough work. So let's plug in that first of all and work backwards. So we've got the zero amount for off-site materials. Off-site, there was 36,400 materials on site, and then to get to that figure, I'll take the subtotal less the off-site materials less the on-site materials will give me that total of 1.96 million odd for value of work done. Again, we've got a variable construction guarantee, so whatever we've certified, 100% will be paid out to the contractor, so there's no deduction or money held back. The total amount for escalation for both the main contractor as well as the nominated subcontractor, it was 55,070 rand. All right, let's add the two totals together. That give me a figure there of 2.051 million odd. Less the previous total. Now, if you go to your certificate number 6, the previous one, you'll find the total amount certified previously was 1.558 million odd. So if we deduct that, that will give me then a net amount certified of 393 rand. There was no expenses or loss paid to the contractor, to the employer rather, penalties payable to the employer, none of those. So those three are all zero amounts, so that leaves me to the same subtotal of 493, 393 and 99 cents, plus the VAT 15%. And then you'll see we've got an item that we need to deduct, and that is the direct payment made by the employer to the electrical subcontractor of 24,000 all inclusive. And note this 24,000 includes the VAT, so I need to take the VAT inclusive, the 24,000. Then there's an amount of 99 rand and 25 cents. That is now default interest payable to the contractor. That is for the late payment of certificate number 6. This discussion was made early on, so I'm not going to elaborate on how did we get to this. This is explained elsewhere in detail. So there was also no other values to be added, and that gives me then a check value inclusive of that and all the additional costs, the direct payment deduction and the interest on for default interest to the value of 543 and 502 rand. Due to the contractor, we still have to tick the box. There's your formula, because we've got a construction contract instruction, or rather the construction guarantee was a variable guarantee. So therefore we need to complete the box, the percentage, as well as it is still above the 50% and we haven't reached practical completion yet. Right, so that's my certificate for the main contractor. If we go to the recovery statement, you'll note that in this particular one, we're going to include basically in this case the direct payment and the default interest. Now, if you look at the direct payment was to the amount of 24,000 Rand, inclusive of that. At the bottom of your certificate, you'll see all amounts exclude tax, exclude the VAT. So I'm going to take the 24,000 and divide it by 1.15 to get to the excluding VAT figure. So that is the direct payment of 24,000 including. So let's take out the VAT. That will give me then 20,869 Rand. And then the default interest. Now note, although it's excluding VAT, default interest, there's no VAT on interest. So we didn't add on VAT onto that 99 Rand and 25 cents. So that is basically the only two items at this point in time, the direct payment and then the default interest. Remember, default interest is for late payments. Then if we move on to the nominated subcontractors work, I'm not going to go through the column A and B. That remains the same as before. Just note the value there of 12,500 Rand. That was an estimated figure, anticipated extra on the contract instructions for electrical. And then again, if we look at the value, that is the first item that you need to plug in, your actual value up to date. There was no materials on site, off site, and also no materials on site. So we're back to the actual value of 122,500 for work done. Contractor, whatever is certified, the contractor will receive 100% because of my construction guarantee that was opted. The escalation on the electrical work was given. So that gives me that figure, less the previous amount, the 66, that comes from certificate number 6. So we look at the subtotal of 73,070 Rand plus the tax, and then also the VAT rather. We need to, and note this change on the previous one, we need to deduct because we've already paid this nominated subcontractor 24,000 Rand. So we need to deduct this 24,000 and note it's inclusive because we didn't. We've already added the tax, the VAT, onto the 73,000 Rand. So it's the full amount inclusive. So in other words, the contractor will only receive 60,030 Rand and 50 cents, the nominated subcontractor. And then if we fill in the box, that gives me then, applying the formula, a 62.4%. You'll note that the payment advice certificate, exactly the same as before. It's just a duplicate almost from the previous notification certificate. We'll get back to the amount due to the nominated subcontractor. Good. I hope that you've learned something today as well, and then we'll meet each other next time. Keep well.